Have you ever truly wondered what happens in the wildest corners of our planet? Not the edited versions we see in documentaries, but the raw, untamed truth, where life and death constantly dance on a razor's edge. Welcome to Ganguro, one of Africa's most precious jewels. Here, stunning beauty exists side by side with unspoken tragedy. Under the clear blue sky, our story unfolds not about a typical hunt or pure animal instinct, but a moment that takes your breath away. A moment when nature's harsh cycle targets the smallest, most vulnerable life and something entirely unexpected happens. Even the fiercest predators of Ganguro, the lion pride, become helpless bystanders. This is a story of fragile hope, surprising compassion, and one fateful instant when the laws of the savannah are challenged by something different, the calling of life itself. Ganguro stretches out like a giant emerald in the heart of the East African savannah. From the rim of an ancient, long-dormant volcano, ice trickles down into a massive basin, miniature world bursting with life and astounding biodiversity. Endless green grass carpets, the land broken only by shimmering lakes that catch the sunlight, where flamingos gather in delicate pink ribbons. Towering acacia trees rise like ancient guardians, their canopies wide like colossal umbrellas, offering shelter to all kinds of wild creatures. The only sounds are the gentle rustling of the wind and the soft buzz of insects. Ganguro holds a serenity that's both pure and breathtaking. Life flourishes here with vibrant force, and each sunrise is a wild symphony of survival and grace. In this vast, magnificent place, Simba's lion pride rules like true royalty. Simba, a powerful male lion with a thick black mane and a face marked by the scars of many battles, leads with quiet strength. His sharp golden eyes have seen countless struggles and just as many sunrises and sunsets over the savannah. At his side is Malikika, a younger lioness whose eyes still hold warmth and compassion. Together, they hunt, rest, and protect their strong, loyal community in the heart of Ngorongoro's wild terrain. One morning, just like any other, the pride lounged in the shade of an old acacia tree, soaking in the soft glow of the rising sun. Then suddenly a disturbance rippled through the air, near the edge of their resting place. Malikika was the first to notice, her ears twitching, her gaze locked on something moving in the tall grass. Simba followed suit, his muscles tensing. The pride slowly stirred, rising to their feet, their eyes all focused in one direction. Then, they saw a heartbreaking sight. A tiny elephant calf lay motionless on the dusty ground, barely hidden among the dry shrubs and golden grass. Beneath the blazing sky, coiled tightly around its delicate frame was a massive African rock python. The snake's dark, glistening scales shimmered ominously in the sun. The calf's trunk hung limply. Its eyes were closed. It looked unconscious. Or worse. Above it, the python raised its heavy head, jaws open wide, tongue flicking the air as if preparing for the final, fatal squeeze. The lion pride crept closer, forming a loose circle around the scene. Confusion and helplessness marked every face. Even Simba, the fierce king, hesitated. A python this large was no easy match, and a baby elephant caught in its grip too small to feed the whole pride. Too risky to approach was an unusual, unsettling sight. Malikika let out a soft, anguished whimper. Something stirred deep inside her, something maternal. She couldn't look away. Yet, she also knew the truth. The laws of the savannah are harsh. Empathy isn't part of the equation. Still, she stood there, torn between instinct and something more human, compassion. The little elephant showed no sign of life. Its silence deepened the sorrow in the air. As the sun rose higher, casting long golden shadows across the land, the pride stood frozen, unsure of what to do. Not far away, Anna, a young Maasai warrior, was guiding his cattle across the plains. In search of new grazing land, he had no idea that just ahead of him, under the bright African sun, an extraordinary and rare story was quietly unfolding, one that might change the course of survival itself. Tall and lean, draped in his vibrant red shukar robe and gripping his staff, Anna was the very image of harmony between man and nature. Every step he took across the savannah was purposeful. He read the land like a book, carefully observing every footprint, every broken twig, every whisper carried on the wind. This land was not just his home, it was his life. Then something unusual caught his eye. It wasn't a typical hunting scene. No lion chase, no scavenger squabble. This was different. His heart clenched the moment he saw a small elephant calf, lying still on the ground, a massive python coiled tightly around its fragile body. The snake's thick body glistened under the sun, its head raised, jaws parted, tongue flicking ominously in the dry morning air. Owen had seen many harsh moments on the savannah. Predator and prey locked in survival's eternal struggle was nothing new to him. But this helpless little calf, so fragile, so motionless, this struck him deep. Living in such close connection with all the wild things of the savannah, he didn't just understand the natural order. He respected it, but he also recognized when something had to be done. And right now, that calf's life was slipping away. Without a moment's hesitation, Owen reached into his pouch and pulled out his old satellite phone. His fingers moved quickly, urgently dialing the nearest Ganguro Conservation Area office. His voice, usually calm, now carried urgency. An elephant calf, attacked by a giant python. Near Lake Magadi, he reported, his eyes never leaving the haunting scene in front of him. He knew time was running out. On the other end, a reassuring voice answered. Help was coming. A professional rescue team was already en route. Moments later, a green jeep tore across the dry landscape, sending dust swirling into the air. The engine's low roar shattered the stillness of the morning and caught everyone's attention. The lion Pride, still watching the scene from a distance, stirred the python, sensing a threat, subtly tightened its deadly grip. The calf remained silent, limp, and dangerously still. Sumba's Pride cautiously backed off, retreating just far enough to stay safe, but not so far they couldn't see what happened next. Curiosity and instinct held them in place, their golden eyes wide with both caution and intrigue. As the vehicle skidded to a halt, Arlo, a seasoned rescue officer, jumped out, no hesitation. He moved with experience, walking swiftly but deliberately toward the scene. In his hands was a tranquilizer gun, already loaded and aimed with care. Every breath in the air felt heavier. Owen could hear his own heartbeat in his ears. He couldn't look away from Arlonaut for a second. He knew how fragile this moment was. One wrong move, an unexpected thrash from the python, a panic cry from the caffeine. Everything could go terribly wrong. Arlo paused, focused. Then, with a deep breath, he fired. The tranquilizer dart shot through the air and struck its target, embedding itself into the thick muscle of the python's coiled body. For a moment, nothing happened. Then suddenly, the python reacted. Its body convulsed violently, the coils tightening with terrifying force. The little elephant let out a sound, a faint, fragile cry. So soft, it was barely more than a whisper, but it was enough to break the silence. And it meant one thing. The calf was still alive. That moment was the most terrifying of all, when Arlo had to remain absolutely calm and composed. Doing nothing, but waiting. Every instinct screamed to act, to rush in, but he knew better. He had to trust the tranquilizer. Slowly, like a tightly wound spring, losing tension, the python's powerful muscles began to relax. The drug was working. Bit by bit, the enormous coils loosened. Its movements became sluggish, heavy, as if the massive creature were sinking into a deep, reluctant sleep. Finally, it stopped moving entirely. Sprawled across the ground, the only sign of life was the way its glistening scales caught the sun. Arlo didn't waste a second. He stepped forward quickly but carefully and dropped to his knees beside the elephant calf. With gentle hands, he began removing the last of the python's coils, each one leaving deep marks on the calf's tender, bruised skin. He checked its condition. The baby elephant was breathing, but weakly. Its body bore the signs of a fierce struggle, but it was alive, a small miracle. Here in the unforgiving heart of the savannah, you could almost feel the collective sigh of relief in the air. No words, just the silent, shared exhale of every soul. Watching, wasting no time, Arlo pulled out a specialized rescue tarp and, with steady care, rolled the calf onto it. With the help of his team, they lifted it into the vehicle, doing everything they could to avoid further injury. From a distance, Sumba's lion Pride still watched. Sumba flicked his tail subtly, his golden eyes following the green jeep as it vanished behind a curtain of tall bushes. Maybe, just maybe, something in his primal nature recognized what had just happened. A break in the natural order, an extraordinary moment of mercy. A rare shift in the brutal rules of survival. The vehicle carrying the injured calf headed straight to the rescue center, where trained professionals waited to give it the care it would need to heal and grow strong again. And the python, once the tranquilizer wore off, Arlo and his team carefully relocated it to a more remote and protected area within the conservation zone. There, it could return to its role in the ecosystem, still wild, still powerful, but far from vulnerable. Young animals, it would continue its life as a vital part of nature's complex cycle. Owen Anna stood watching as the rescue vehicle faded into the horizon. He didn't move until it was completely out of sight. He knew, deep down, that today, he'd been part of something rare, something beautiful. A story of life and compassion, a story that would be passed down through generations of the Maasai people. Ganguro gradually returned to its usual stillness, but the air still held the weight of what had just unfolded, the echoes of struggle, the pulse of survival, and the quiet impact of human intervention done right. This story is a powerful reminder of how fragile life can be in the natural world, and of the fierce, unforgiving force of nature itself. But more than that, it sparks something else, a glimmer of hope. A reminder of what humanity can be when it chooses to protect, to care, and to help maintain the delicate, miraculous balance of the ecosystem across the vast savannah beneath the clear blue sky. The story of the rescued elephant calf will continue to be told as a testament to kindness and shared empathy in this wild world. It's a quiet whisper of hope, a reminder that no matter how harsh life may be, there is always room for compassion and aid.